Welcome to SethCraft. I'm currently building a 20 by 30 shop and it's time to put some flooring in. You'll see behind me that in the cavities between my joists I have some foam board. It's not quite done yet because that step takes a long time. But before it rains on this foam board, I want to get a few pieces of the plywood installed. So the plywood that I'm going to use is 3/4 inch treated plywood. It's very heavy, about 85 pounds. To get that installed, I'm going to be using some liquid nails. I have found that Walmart has the best price on this. I'm also going to be using some 2.5 inch screws to put that down. So if you're interested in this, continue watching. The spacing on my blocking is right at 4 foot, and so I'm going to run my plywood in this direction for the best strength. So from the front of the building to the back. So the first sheet is going to be a full 8 foot, and it's going to end right here. And then the next one I'm going to cut in half at 4 foot and start a piece right there. And then I'll have an 8 foot piece on top of that up there. So just staggering those pieces a little bit to have the best strength possible. So let's go ahead and start by putting some of this liquid nails adhesive down. This is going to do a couple of things. First of all, it is an adhesive, so it helps this to stay down in place, but it also helps to keep any bugs from getting between these cavities here. So, all right, now I do have to break the seal here with the nail. There we go. All right, now I don't need a whole lot of this. I'm just going to run a bead of it along the When I get to this edge over here, I'm going to be careful to only apply this on the side closest to where the plywood's going to be. And I'll apply some more here in just a bit whenever it's time to put it on for the other piece. Setting this plywood alone can be a little bit tricky because it is quite heavy, but I'm just going to get this over here into position, and hopefully I'll be able to pull this close edge here and then set it down somewhat slowly. Let's see what I can do here. First of all, let me see if I can pick it up. Nope. Like I said, it's pretty heavy. Yeah. I think it's somewhere around 80-85 pounds. Oh gosh. Yeah, that is too heavy for me. Okay, yikes. That is heavy. All right. I think I'm going to put a foot here and just drop it. Well, messed up everything. All right, I'm going to match up these corners here so I can then begin to use some 2.5 inch screws to get this installed. Okay, I've got this first piece squared up, and that's very important for the next pieces to be correct. Now this has, of course, 2 sides to it, and this seemed like the smoothest side, so that's the one I went with. I'm going to go every foot or so and put one of these 2.5 inch screws in. Now I think the next piece will be easier to install because I can use this one to slide that piece through. We'll see how well that works. This initial one though was kind of ugly. Okay, I just got the first piece totally locked down. I put 3 screws in each of the middle pieces and then just 1 every foot along the outside. Let me walk this next piece over and we will cut this in half at 4 foot I'm going to use these blocks to bring this up off of my surface here so that I can cut through and not cut into my previous sheet of plywood. I'm going to use my tape measure here to find 4 foot. Find it over here as well. All right, just like that. And now I'm going to set my saw depth just to 3/4 inch so I don't cut through my underside there. All right, that should do it. Now I'm just going to freehand this line down here. Just like with the full sheet, I'm going to go back and use some of this Liquid Nails adhesive here. All right, this should be much more manageable than the other piece was. I can get it here and just slide it right into the spot it should be. Yeah, that's a lot better. Okay, need to line this up. Quite the bow on this side, so I'm gonna stand here, try to get that flush there, and I will set this corner. Now it's time to get the second full sheet on the first row here, and I also have the space for the first full sheet on the second row. So I think it's going to be a lot easier to slide this up now that I have one piece down and set it down more where it's supposed to be without squishing out all of my adhesive here. Oh, much smoother. Nice. All right. I just completed the first full course of the plywood being placed down, and I'm here to the end where I have basically 6 feet to go over. Don't step on that. So what I need to do now is cut down a piece of this plywood to fit here, and the extra 2 feet will actually be going on this last side right here, and then I will be staggering these the other direction, and so basically it will have good support all the way across. But for now, we need to cut 6 feet out of this piece of plywood right here. I'm going to use this large square to help me get my mark transferred for this cut.
Is that glue?
Yep, this is glue.
It looks more like bubble gum.
Yeah, you would want to eat this though.
That would look. Why are you putting glue everywhere?
This helps to keep the the boards. Yeah?
I'm not going to call it the glue anymore. I'm going to call it glue. Come on, Elle. I'm coming in hot.
Not yet.
Now is it good?
Not yet.
Why not?
I gotta put screws in it first.
Oh.
I just finished up the floor of this 20 by 30 shop. It took a bit longer than I was anticipating because of all of the foam insulation up underneath, but I am very pleased with the results. I ran the tape measure last night from this corner to that corner, and then that corner to this corner over here, and I'm off somewhere between 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch on being square, and I am pleased enough with that because to be able to square out a building this big, good enough. Now, there were a few points where my sheathing was a little bit off, as you can see right here. So what I'm going to do is run a mark from this corner here along to match up to this corner right here, and I will trim off that excess. Now, I looked over here on this side, and well, first of all these gaps in here where the sheets went together, of course, makes a little extra space on the side. For instance, this one's a bit bigger right here. And what that means is by the time I get to this edge over here, I'm off by however much those were. And so I'm also going to run a line along this edge and trim that up as well. So it will become squared off as need be based on those lines. So, all right, well, I'm pleased with it. The next step in this build is going to be doing a basic wall, which will be, I think, starting on this corner right here. So definitely stay tuned to that. Thank you so much for watching the floor installation here on this 20 by 30 building. If you want to watch the next step, which is installing a basic wall, then be sure to subscribe, ring the notification bell, and stay tuned for the next part in this build. Now, if you've missed a video in this build so far, I'll have those links in the description down below as well. I'm Seth with the SethCraft Workshop, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.